I know who the goddamn killer is.
In a case like this, nobody just walks into the office and tells you who the killer is. It just doesn't happen that way.
Sometimes truth defies reason, Agent Dole.
What exactly do you know?
Has God spoken to you yet?
Bill Paxton, Matthew McConaughey, Frailty.
What has to be done, has to be done.
Oh, hey. Didn't see you come in. Just give me 1 second, I gotta finish up some paperwork. Ken is lazy and gay. And Semper is old and stupid. Yeah, lots of O's. Alright, sorry. Hold on. I know it's dark. Welcome back for another 31 days of Popcornween. I'm your host again tonight. Caught me at the office after hours, finishing up some paperwork stuff, very important documents for burnt popcorn. And what's tonight? Tonight's night 25. It's been a long road through the 31 days of Popcornween. A lot of videos made by me and Ken and Kyle. And Semper's and Kyle's videos. We've covered a lot of movies this month. Some new ones, some old ones, the same old ones, again. Somehow, Semper can only come up with one horror movie franchise. But we've come a long way. We've watched a lot of movies this month. Talked about a lot of movies this month. Hopefully we've shared some movies this month that you guys haven't even heard of. Or maybe just failed to check out because, it just didn't grab you at the right time. Maybe it did this time. Tonight, I've got another movie that maybe you missed when it came out over 20 years ago. I know I didn't. This was a movie that I loved growing up because it's, in my opinion, one of the last true American Gothic films.
Frailty.
That's right, tonight we're going to talk about Matthew McConaughey and Bill Paxton's Frailty. Now, being a boy that grew up in East Texas, this movie has a certain bit of nostalgia for me. Not just because it was from an era long before movies went woke or got girl bosses or any of that dumb nonsense. People just want to stamp and put on video after video and video so that Semper can just fucking mention it in our streams. I may have gotten off. This movie is kind of unique in the fact that almost everyone involved in it is from Texas, including the stars. Matthew McConaughey, Bill Paxton, Powers Booth, the three leads of this film. And Bill Paxton also served as director for this movie. And when you look in further, even the man who wrote this film, who almost wrote this as a one, bam, here's my magnus opus, I'm gonna dip out kind of thing, because he's done very, very few projects since, and most of his activity ended around the late 2000s. I don't think he's dead. Maybe he's just, what is that? What's that word? It's a word for when you stop needing stuff, stop wanting fame and things. What is it? Happy. Yes, that's it. Maybe he's happy. No. I'm going to give you a quick rundown of this film, and then I'm going to tell you about how it came to be. The story begins on a dark, stormy night in Dallas, Texas, at the FBI headquarters. FBI agent Wesley Doyle gets visited by a mysterious man who claims to be Fenton Meeks, and says that his brother, Adam Meeks, is in fact the serial killer that Agent Doyle has been chasing for many years. A serial killer known as the God's Hand Killer. Now, Fenton, played by Matthew McConaughey, and Agent Doyle, played by Powers Booth, begin to discuss Fenton's childhood back in the 70s, and how in the summer of 1979 his father, played by Bill Paxton, is visited by an angel who tells him he has a sacred mission to find and destroy demons in our world hiding, and that this mission, it must be kept absolutely secret. Now Fenton doesn't believe a word of this. Thinks his father's lost his mind. But the younger son, Adam, he believes. He believes everything his daddy tells him. The angel tells the dad he will be sent tools to help with his mission. The first tool is sent is a double-headed axe with the name Otis inscribed on it. He notices a shaft of sunlight breaking through the clouds, directing to a barn. Finds the axe and a pair of work gloves on a stump. He brings them home, shows them to the kids. Fenton is not impressed. Then the dad is given a lead pipe. He doesn't know what any of these objects are for. And then one day, while he's under a car at work, the angel comes to him and gives him the list of names of demons that he's to destroy. Then one night, his dad shows up with a nurse, crying, bound and gagged, takes him to the shed. The sons follow. Tells his sons that she would kill patients and rob them. And because of that, God has deemed her a demon, she must be removed from this earth. And to Fenton's horror and Adam's morbid fascination, their dad butchers the nurse with a double-headed axe.
Dad, don't, please!
Absolutely horrified, Fenton believes his father has completely lost his mind. But Adam claims he saw the vision too. When his dad touched the nurse, claims he saw every sin she ever did. Now at this point in the story, FBI agent Doyle decides, well, you know what? We should take a trip down to Thurman, see this rose garden where your father and your brother buried their victims. So Agent Doyle handcuffs Matthew McConaughey and puts him in the backseat of the car. They start driving, and Fenton starts telling him a little more. He then explains to Agent Doyle how their next victim they snatched in broad daylight. Father believed that God would blind any witnesses to their acts and protect them against all evil, so that they may do their work in secrecy. One night, the dad prays really hard for the angel to visit Fenton, to make him believe, to make him see. Instead, the angel tells him something else, something he doesn't want to hear. So he makes Fenton, as punishment for his resistance to their mission, dig a large hole in the backyard. A hole that would become their kill room and cellar after they roll their shed on top of it. While digging, Fenton insistently refuses to use gloves, blistering his hands to the point of almost inoperable use. And down in that hole, he rejects God completely. Shortly after is the father's next abduction. But when they get this man back to their cellar, Fenton freaks out and escapes the cellar, running straight to the sheriff of town, who has been getting ready to go catch the bass before the sun breaks. Noticing how terrified Fenton is, the sheriff takes him home to confront his father, and in turn inspect the cellar to find nobody down there. As the sheriff begins to leave, the father who had gone upstairs before him strikes him in the chest with the axe, knocking him down the stairs and killing him. And he is repulsed by what he's done. He starts puking. And as they bury his body, the dad tells Fenton about the angel coming to him and telling him that Fenton was a demon. But the dad doesn't take this lying down. He's determined to save his son. But he may pick a very strange method of doing it. Takes Fenton and locks him in the cellar for weeks, nailing the door shut. After being starved and barely getting any water, he claims to be enlightened, that he now believes. And Fenton even helps with the next abduction. But as his father goes to knock him unconscious with a lead pipe, Fenton accidentally alerts the man, and his father gets hurt in the process. They still get the man though, and they take him back to the cellar. There, his father gives him a final chance at redemption. He gives Fenton the axe and tells him to destroy the demon. But instead, Fenton puts the axe in his own father's chest. Laying on the ground dying, Dad whispers something into Adam's ear. And Adam looks at Fenton and sees it. And Dad dies. Fenton tries to release the abducted man, but before he gets a chance to get him completely free, Adam has removed the axe from his father's chest and kills the demon. No! While burying their father and the demon, Fenton turns to Adam and says, "If the day ever comes that you have to do this to me, swear to God you'll bury me in the rose garden." And Adam agrees. He swears to God he'll do it. And this is where Doyle starts noticing something. He's like, wait a minute. You said, Fenton said bury him in the rose garden. You're Fenton. You said Adam said that. Matthew McConaughey has been Adam this whole time. Twist! I know, I just spoiled a 23-year-old movie. This is the part where Matthew McConaughey reveals that he is in fact a God's hand killer. And that God has sent him for Agent Doyle. Because God saw what he did. Early in the film we learned that Agent Doyle's mother years ago had been murdered. And her murderer never found, supposedly by a lunatic. But Adam knows the truth. It was Agent Doyle. He killed his own mother with a butcher knife as she was hanging laundry. And God had sent him to remove Agent Doyle from this earth. And he puts his hand on him and he gets the vision and that stuns Agent Doyle. It always seemed to have like this, like the touch has like this stunning effect. While they're like, their sins are being revealed, they can't move.
How did you know?
And he puts Agent Doyle down in the hole that he already dug for him. And, removes him from this earth. I know what you're thinking. How's he gonna get away with it? FBI headquarters, definitely surveillance, like, everywhere. Right? People talk to him. Here's the weird part. People talk to him, can't recall what he looks like. And when they get the security camera footage, there's a weird tracking line that completely covers his face. And one of the agents who had worked with Doyle, who was investigating Doyle's disappearance, even goes down to the Thurman to talk to the sheriff. And when you know it, guess who walks out? Matthew McConaughey. And he doesn't even recognize him. Was this all real? Was this man really a soldier for God? I don't know. some of the great things about this movie. You don't know. You don't really... It suggests, yes, maybe this man actually was a soldier for God and he was protected. Or he's one of the luckiest serial killers ever to live. And he's just full on insane. Now, this was Bill Paxton's directorial debut in 2001. And it was kind of by accident. Producer David Kirshner had a great script that he wanted to get produced by writer Brent Hanley. And he knew he wanted Bill Paxton to be in it. And talking to Bill, he said they really need to find a special kind of director that could handle this subject matter very sensitively.
And I love this familial thing to it, the father and these two boys, but I was terrified to take on the role of the father. I thought, wait a minute, who's going to direct me in this thing?
He said, I'm thinking that it would really take the right kind of director to do this film. And I said, you know, absolutely. He said, someone that understands the character, someone that understands really how far to go and how far not to go, and what is subtle. And I said, oh, I agree with you 100%. He said, I'd like to be that director. I think that I could do that. And I wasn't prepared for that. I just started shaking my head, but inside I'm saying, oh shit.
While Bill was a focus of the film, the fact that he became the director gave him a lot more creative freedom over the production and the story. And he really got to work closely with Matthew McConaughey and Powers Booth, Matthew O'Leary, to shape this story in total. Usually in actors, they get paid to come on, they do their part, they don't know what's going to happen to the movie. But this was the first time Bill Paxton really got to have a hands-on influence to every part of the film. And for a first-time directorial debut, not only is this a great movie, it's better than most people's 10th movies. Bill Paxton was a true lover of cinema. In the most purest sense, he didn't care the budgets of what projects he was on. He was there to tell a story and to help other people tell a story. And this was his first chance he got to do it himself. And in my opinion, he knocked it out of the park.
This picture, Frailty, really did connect all the dots for me. The great characters in the story. This story set in rural East Texas. I love the supernatural aspects of the movie. I love the Gothic aspects of the movie.
Bill put this group of Texans together to make the film. He put Powers Booth and Matthew McConaughey there. He brought me to the picture.
I brought Powers Booth in, you know, obviously him and Matthew have all their scenes together, and I knew these two Texas actors, and here's a young leading man actor who's coming up, who's done some great films, Matthew, and here's this old seasoned pro. Those guys play off each other really well in the film. They do some great work. They really both. It's like watching a great tennis match.
Frailty is a movie that leaves an impression on you. There's an atmosphere of creepiness and terror and tension all under this very middle-class 70s family life. Bill Paxton was able to really dive into the psychology of young Fenton Meeks as he's being isolated from his father, who he believes is diving further and further to bouts of insanity. And he's able to do it all with lighting and mood and expressions on people's faces. And he was able to get some really great performances out of child actors who were notorious for being terrible. But Frailty gave this young child actor something really to chew on. A real conflict internally and externally that translates very well to the screen and keeps you pulled in to the very last second of the movie.
The greatest roles I ever got to play was Dad. And I love the idea that you never know his name through the whole movie. It's just Dad.
He had to become the paternal figure, and he had to rule the roost with the kids.
We worked hard, but we played hard too. And you know, at times I'd get exasperated because they'd not be taking a scene seriously, or they kept cutting up. And I kept my composure for the most part, but there were days that really tested me on a lot of levels.
It's one of those films that leaves you thinking about it. Just presents to you this story of this family tragedy and history of violence, and lets you just kind of sit with it.
It's about God coming to a man and giving him a vision, sending an angel to him and gives him a vision, tells him that it's his and his family's job to destroy demons for God. So we don't know which is which. Is it true? Is it not true? Is Dad insane? Is he not insane? Did God really come to him? Is he delusional?
It's a story about a family being broken up. It's a story about guilt, about redemption. Mostly, it's a story about two brothers trying to stay connected while their world gets ripped in half and they get put on opposite sides. This is a great movie. If you haven't watched it, go watch it. There's like 19 fucking streaming services. How are you gonna have problems finding a movie these days? Frailty is a very grounded movie, but it takes you to some very dark Gothic places. It reminds you of a simpler time when the world was a little more mysterious. Well, thank you guys so much for watching this breakdown and review. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave your comments down in the comment section. Leave us a like. If you haven't yet, subscribe. We're going to be doing more of these produced videos in the future. So please, help us find out what we did right and what we did wrong so we can get better at this. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Ken's got another movie, and then Semper's probably going to do... I don't know. Is there more Freddy movies at this point? Is he just going to turn in videos of him sleeping? It's probably going to be the videos of him sleeping, isn't it? We'll see you guys next time. Have a great one.